Welcome to Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times, presented by Worth Wealth Management, a weekly conversation with area leaders about how to persevere during uncertain times. Now here's your host, Gary Shorman.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times. One of the things we do on this program is look for individuals that are making a difference. We found one here. It's going to be in our program today, and that's Seth Carter. And Seth is the president of Colby Community College. Seth, welcome to our program today.
Thank you so much, Gary. Can't tell you how much I appreciate you having us. Thank you.
Well, I know you took time out of a busy schedule because I just heard as we were talking earlier, getting students enrolled, all those things that you have to do with students, along with not only that, leading a community college. I want to talk a little bit about your community college there in Colby, because having family in that area, we do get a chance to travel by. We see what you're doing. The campus always looks good, always looks busy. But for those that don't know, give us the 60-second elevator pitch on Colby Community College.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah, we're so blessed to be in the community that we are. We've received so much tremendous community support, and we have such wonderful personnel in place. And I think about our students. I mean, our students are second to none. If you look at our student outcomes, what really makes Colby Community College unique, we serve about 2,400 students annually. Colby Community College has had the highest graduation rate 5 out of the last 8 years amongst the community college sector in the state of Kansas. We have among the highest student outcomes in the nation. And we're so fortunate to have that, because we don't get that. We don't get those type of outcomes if we don't have wonderful people serving students, and if we don't have incredible students that are achieving those outcomes. And when I think about Colby Community College, you know, we're deeply rooted in agriculture. We actually just completed the Lawn Arfrom Agricultural Center, and then we just completed the renovation of the Stanley Carr Agricultural Center. Since 2020, we have renovated or added almost $24 million worth of new facilities on campus. So
well, that's what I'm seeing driving by, how nice that looks. What makes up your student population? During COVID, obviously things just went away. What is the student population today like? Is it on campus, in town, Northwest Kansas, all across the country?
Yeah, so it's a unique blend, because if you go through and analyze Colby Community College's enrollment base, we do have a lot of students from Kansas, have a lot of students from Northwest Kansas, but we also have a heavy online presence. And the college is actually attracting a lot of international students. I just found out yesterday we have 73 international students enrolled in the fall, and they're representing over 40 countries. So really a unique, diverse enrollment base. And you are right, COVID did kind of accelerate the online hybrid learning opportunities. And I just think we're very blessed to have the platforms that we do, the resources we have in place that can serve those students regardless of modality.
So 73 from overseas, what would their classes be? What would they be made up of at Colby?
Oh man, so we have such a unique enrollment base. Our students are taking all kinds of different majors. In total, Colby has over 60 programs of study, and our students are really taking advantage of those different unique programs of study. We have a lot of students that aspire to transfer, and a lot of those students are athletically based, but they want to focus on getting their associate's degree from Colby and then transferring on to that respective baccalaureate goal as well.
Well, Seth, one of the things that brought us to you was Ingrams Magazine, and it was listed, you were listed as one of the 50 Kansans that you should know. And congratulations first on that. Were you surprised?
Oh, thank you, sir. I don't think that's an honor I necessarily deserve at all. I think you don't receive those type of accolades without having such a wonderful organization, having so many people that build that up. So that credit really needs to be extended to the quality of people that I get to work with every day.
Well, were you surprised when they called and said this?
Yeah, you know, it's really a neat deal. I didn't know much about that at that particular time, but it's really a neat honor, and I was very surprised.
Well, when you look through the list, it's a really cool list of people who, frankly, make a difference in Kansas. All types of companies, universities, not-for-profit organizations, but really it's a group of 50 who are making a difference. It's neat to be on that list, but how did you get to Colby? I want to find out a little bit more about you. You got the award, but how did you get to Colby and to put yourself in a place to be able to do this? Where are you from? What have you done?
So I grew up in Southeast Kansas, grew up in Leroy, Kansas. We moved here from North Carolina, moved here then. My dad worked at Wolf Creek, which is the power plant. Unfortunately, my dad passed when I was very young, and very fortunate to have the mom and stepfather that I do. I'm one of 9. So going through and aspiring to work at a community college, I was fortunate enough to go to Allen Community College. And that's what really created my love of the community college sector, and just knowing we really give students an opportunity to be successful. And going through and doing that gave me the foundation to be successful. And I'll spend the rest of my career giving that back to people. So
You
I
do.
was fortunate enough. I went to Allen Community College. I actually have an associate's degree from Colby Community College as well. Have a bachelor's degree from Emporia State University, a master's degree from Pittsburgh State University, and a doctorate from Baker University. So I've done my part supporting Kansas education.
You
And
do, and that's a broad background. Did you have mentors along the way that helped you at each of those schools, or who have, if you look back at your career, would say, "Hey, this person, this group really helped me get to this point."
yes, sir. I've been incredibly blessed throughout my life. I've had a lot of people that took the time to believe in me, and I think that's really helped shape my educational leadership philosophy of we need to pay that back tenfolds over. And I've had a lot of mentors throughout the years that spent a good deal of time investing in me and just trying to bring out the best in me as a whole. So going through and looking at that, yeah, one of my biggest mentors, I used to be the operations manager at Flint Hills Technical College, and I was very fortunate. I started working in higher education when I was 18 years old. And the president of that college, Dean, told me, he said, Seth, he said, you have the unique ability, you could be the next president here. And he said, you got to get a master's degree. I said, well, Dean, I really don't want to get a master's degree. He said, you got to get one. So I got my master's degree. And then he said, you got to get a doctorate. I said, Dean, I really don't want to get a doctorate. And when I did that, I was the operations manager at the college. Blake Flanders, who's the president of the Board of Regents now, he came and he did a site inspection. And he called me that night and he said, hey, Seth, he said, I think could potentially be a good, valuable member of the Kansas Board of Regents, our staff. I'm not guaranteeing you anything. He said, but hopefully you apply. So I applied and then I went there as an associate director. And Colby actually used to be my school. And our college was going through some turmoil at that particular point. And I was just fortunate enough they had the vacancy. And actually, Dr. Tompkins, who was the former president of the Board of Regents, just said, hey, I think you should pursue it and see if you can make a difference. And I was fortunate enough, everything worked out. The Board of Trustees took a huge chance on me and hired me to fill this role. And I'm just eternally grateful. I think about the quality of people that I get to work with every day. The board is an exceptional board, and I give them a lot of credit in terms of some of the gains that we've been able to make, because without their leadership, we wouldn't be where we are.
I want to talk a little bit about the school. You mentioned a couple of really neat things that have been going on, the growth in some of the building things, but you've had some great contributors. The agriculture side of that, you have a couple of facilities, a couple of things that have been put in place. The Lawn From Agricultural Center at the college. That's neat. What does it do? What do they do there?
So we actually ran into a unique problem. Our Stanley Car Agricultural Center was constructed in the 70s. We are really heavy in ag. We have a lot of diverse ag programs. The challenge was we had one classroom over there, and our classes were so large, we weren't even teaching any of our agricultural classes in the ag building. So we had been very, very fortunate. The state had provided some ARPA funds. Those were federal dollars passed through. And Miss Morgan, who's the executive director of the Kansas Association of Community College Trustees, had helped us going through and applying for those funds. And also Senator Billinger, who's local to Northwest Kansas, he was instrumental in us having the opportunity to go through and pursue those dollars as well. But going through and looking at it, our new agricultural center now hosts, oh man, every one of our ag classes. It's some of our largest classrooms on campus. It was a project that broke ground October of 2022 and was completed by August of 2023. So it was really incredible how quickly that all came together. And then the Stanley Car Agricultural Center was a building that was in desperate need of renovation. That our veterinary nursing program now currently is residing in that facility. We have about 225 students enrolled in that program in total. So really a great contributor to our area. And I think if you look, Colby is very renowned for our incredible agricultural programs. And we also have the best veterinary nursing program in the state of Kansas. And we have one of the top in the nation.
I understand it that Colby Community College has the highest graduation rate of all the community colleges in Kansas, and I didn't know this, but there's a book out. It's the Community College Data Book, and that puts you guys at the top, and it really has a lot to say about what's taking place not only with you in the facility, but Colby Community College. That's a great honor.
Yes, sir. So yeah, in the community college data book, Colby's actually been recognized as having the highest graduation rate 5 of the last 8 years among the 19 community colleges. And again, I think that's just really a testament to the quality of staff, faculty, and students that we have. and we're just blessed enough to serve the communities that we do, because that level of sustained greatness, in my opinion, I always say we're trying to be the dynasty of Colby community or community colleges. And if you look at that, that really puts us on a unique path that nobody else in the state of Kansas can say that they're doing, and they're serving students in that manner.
Well, I was going to ask this later and talk about it later, but when you talk about dynasties, you have a pretty good volleyball team over there, don't you?
Yes, sir. So we actually just won the first regional championship that we had won since 78, I'm sorry, 77, 78. And then they had a really good showing at nationals. Unfortunately, we did lose to a team that were eventually the national champions, but they had an incredible season. Our cross country team, they won regionals in both. The men placed third in the nation after winning nationals last year, and the women placed fifth. So the students, what we really want to focus on, we want great human beings that are going to be good global citizens. And I think if you take care of those things, you bring in the right high character students, they're going to achieve academically. I think you see that success translate on the court, on the practice field. I think you see all those things start occurring.
Seth, I want to take a quick break here. Our guest is Seth Carter, who is the president of Colby Community College. We're going to come back and find out why a student should choose Colby. There's a lot of options out there. We know that. Why they should choose Colby Community College. Back with more after this.
The most successful investors are those that can keep their emotions in check and take a longer-term view at what portfolios will be worth 3 to 5 years down the road. I'd say that's the most important in determining what investor outcomes are. Market corrections will continue in the future. We've seen many of them over the years, only to see equity prices rise higher, and that'll be the case in the future.
Worth Wealth Management, enhancing lives and strengthening families.
Welcome back to Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times. Our program is brought to you by Worth Wealth Management. Our guest today is Seth Carter, who was honored as one of the 50 Kansans you should know by Ingrams Magazine. But you drill down into it, you talk about things that are going on. You can see the reason why things are being successful at Colby Community College. But it does take students to make a community college work. Seth, why should people decide to go to Colby Community College?
Oh, I mean, if you look at the quality of staff and faculty that we have, I believe all of our students know, yes, is it important for the college to grow and to increase those student numbers 100%. But our students have names, our students have stories. That's not something we're ever looking at and trying to lose sight of. Every one of our students come to us with a unique goal, and I think we have the personnel in place that really serve them. But I also look at our community as a whole. You know, we were talked a little bit about COVID earlier. The only positive thing, in my opinion, that came out of COVID was the amount of community support that we had really received. We had several international students that couldn't go home, and I had so many community members texting me and saying, Seth, hey, you know, because we wound up with about 40 international students that couldn't go home, so we were taking care of them in our dorms. So many people stepped up to be host families. You just don't see that. You don't see that level of care everywhere. And to me, that was such a testament to how great our community is, because some of these community members didn't have any idea who these kids were. They didn't know who these students were, but they were willing to open their homes, willing to open their doors to say, hey, I will absolutely help take care of them. What can I do? What meals can I provide? So when you go through and you're trying to say, like, hey, as a student, this is what we're hoping to experience, to me, that speaks volumes. My little brother and sister they live 6 hours away. They both came to Colby Community College. They didn't receive any form of tuition remittance. They didn't receive any type of discount. They didn't receive any kind of break. There was every community college in that area would have been more convenient for them, but they both came to Colby because of the quality of education that we can provide and that student experience.
Well, Seth, it's fun talking to you. You're so focused on Colby Community College. Do you have time to do anything fun?
Well, I'm very blessed. I've got a lovely family. My wife and I have been together since we were in high school. She bought that stock very high. It's had a precipitous drop. I'm slowly morphing into Shrek, and she's as beautiful as the day we met. We have 3 lovely kids. They are 4, 8, and 11. They all just had birthdays, so I always have to keep that running total in my mind. But yeah, we coach. I coach a lot of their sports. Love going to our college events. Love going to just supporting what our students are doing, and again, just very blessed. And I know I received a personal accolade on that, but please understand that's not for me to receive. It's really a testament about what we are doing as a college and the quality of people we have.
Well, I have a couple granddaughters that are in Colby, and so we get a chance to go out and visit things. We'll talk about that later, but I may run into you at one of those events where you have the youngsters out doing basketball, volleyball, et cetera.
Yeah, well,
So, final
please
note,
stop me.
if you want to find out more, you know, obviously drive out to Colby. You can go online. I know you guys have a nice web page. Tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll wrap things up today.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So anyone that's interested, they can view our website at www.colbycc.edu. Our website actually just went a complete renovation within the last month. Our public relations director, Doug Johnson, did a fantastic job on that. But we have all the programmatic information available. You can see the scholarships that we have. There's applications. You can see the Title IV, which is financial aid, the different opportunities to help pay for college or help offset the cost of attending Colby Community College. There's just a lot of great opportunities there, and we would love to have more people be a part of that.
Seth, thanks for taking time out today. Obviously, you're doing great things in the Colby area in Western Kansas for agriculture and our students. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for taking the time to be here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Our guest today is Seth Garter, who is president of Colby Community College, and our program is brought to you by Worth Wealth Management, where you can live with confidence. I'm Gary Shorman. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us for Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times, presented by Worth Wealth Management. Join us right here next week for another episode with host Gary Shorman. Until then, remember to move forward ever, backward never.